Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program.
The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
The News at Noon program is the best assembly of news and local weather for the Four Corners region. Give us your feedback and news alerts at 677-4119.
I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-hosts are Kelsey Kiesling and Jerry Tope. Let's take a look at what's in the news for June 14th, 2016. Reported in the Durango Herald, the homeless man who was found dead on the banks of the Animas River last month died from an overdose of a cocktail of drugs, a final autopsy report confirmed, which was released on Monday. On May 21st, the body of Randy Shaw, a transient better known as Kansas, his home state, was found on the west bank of the Animas near West Park Avenue. A toxicology report showed he had fairly high levels of numerous drugs with extremely high levels of methamphetamine. The autopsy concluded the manner of death was an accidental overdose and there was no evidence of foul play. According to Shaw's family, the 40-year-old man was a veteran who turned to living on the streets more than a decade ago. He was happy in his travels, they said, but suffered from drug addiction. His 41st birthday would have been on June 23rd. The whereabouts of Shaw's traveling partner, a brown and white pit bull mix named Jolene, remain unknown. The family wanted to recover Jolene as a means of remembering their late brother. The autopsy report said a dog toy was found among Shaw's belongings.
According to the Durango Herald, a Durango woman was cited with criminal trespass after breaking a car window to rescue a puppy that didn't need to be rescued. Shelby Perovich, 25, reached into the back window of a blue 1996 Chevy pickup to unlock it, but the window popped off, fell to the ground, and shattered, according to Durango Police Department report. Perovich did not return calls seeking comment. Durango resident Victoria Fristensky, a health benefit advisor at Mercy Regional Medical Center, said she walked out of the building about 4:30 p.m. June 7th and heard a puppy whining. The dog was on the floor of the truck under the steering wheel, she said. She took a picture of the license plate and reported it to hospital security so they could try to locate the truck's owner. She then called 911, which advised her to call La Plata County Animal Protection. About that time, Perovich exited the hospital carrying her baby and also heard the puppy crying, Fristensky said. Fristensky and Perovich tried unsuccessfully to open the truck doors. Then Perovich tried the window. Animal protection officers Misty Lloyd and Reed Brubaker arrived and took the temperature of the car, which read 110 degrees near where the puppy was sitting, the police report said. The two front windows were open about 3 inches, and the back driver's side window also was cracked open, the report says. The puppy was taken to the La Plata County Humane Society, where a veterinarian determined the dog to be in good shape, said Travis Worrell, managing supervisor of animal protection.
From the Durango Herald, Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, will kick off the 2016 Western Conservative Summit on July 1st in Denver, event organizers announced on Monday. The summit, billed as the largest gathering of conservatives outside of Washington, D.C., will run through July 3rd at the Colorado Convention Center. It is hosted by the Centennial Institute, a public policy think tank at Colorado Christian University in Lakewood. In its 7th year, the summit is expected to draw more than 4,000 attendees and more than 200 media outlets, according to a news release. Jeff Hunt, director of Centennial Institute, said in a release, "We've been in touch with the Trump campaign for several weeks and always knew we were on their radar to attend, but it was great news to get confirmation." Trump is scheduled to kick off the summit with a morning address on July 1st. Others expected at the summit include former presidential candidate Carly Fiorina, Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, and Phil Robertson, professional hunter and reality TV star of Duck Dynasty. A gold pass to the summit is $600 and silver passes are $200, although organizers are working on a plan to offer single event tickets for Trump's appearance. For more information or to register, visit the website westernconservativesummit.com.
According to the Durango Herald, Darlene Mann, owner of Lightner Creek Mobile Home Park, has been issued another state reprimand for not meeting deadlines to fix the park's leaking sewage pit. In a compliance advisory issued May 27th and made public last week, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment said man failed to perform several key actions to clean up the pit that is leaching feces and other septic material into Lightner Creek, a tributary of the Animas River. According to the state, man has not submitted an engineering evaluation, which would lay out a plan and time schedule for a remediation project, nor has she submitted proof she has hired an engineer, measures that were due months ago. As a result, Mandy Mercer, Clean Water Enforcement Specialist with the state, said man is likely to miss further deadlines, such as applying for a site approval for the park west of Durango, as well as a preliminary effluence limit. Mann, who splits her time between Colorado and Utah, did not respond to requests for comment. Her attorney, Durango lawyer John Siebert, wrote in an email that the advisory came as a surprise because Ms. Mann's engineer had submitted documents intended to meet CDPHE's initial deadlines. According to Mercer, Mann's engineer, Dolores-based resident Cap Allen, left the project. Mercer said she has heard Mann acquired a new engineer, but the department has received no proof of a contract.
Reported in the Durango Herald from Denver, in continuing coverage of the U.S. Senate Republican primary, Republican U.S. Senate candidate Ryan Frazier doesn't buy the commentary that this is his last chance to prove himself, given previous failed political bids. For one thing, Frazier says he is a winner. He served 2 terms on the Aurora City Council, establishing successful strategies to ensure that he would continue working for the people of that city. In his early 30s, Frazier was hailed as a rising star of the Republican Party. He ran against incumbent Ed Perlmutter in 2010 in the 7th Congressional District, but lost by 11 points. To Frazier's credit, the district is a difficult one, and fellow members of the GOP have lost by similar margins or more to Perlmutter. The next year, in 2011, Frazier sought to become the mayor of Aurora. He lost that race to Steve Hogan by 8 points. Now, at 38, Frazier is ready to unseat Democrat Michael Bennet, something he sought to do in 2009 before dropping out of a crowded field to focus on the 7th District race. To get on this year's primary ballot, Frazier took the petition route, collecting signatures in each of the state's 7 congressional districts. But the campaign faced a setback when the Secretary of State's office determined that the signatures Frazier submitted were insufficient. He took the case to the Colorado Supreme Court, which asked that the lower court take another look, and sure enough, Frazier learned that his votes would be counted. In addition to operating his consulting company, Frazier Global Strategies, which boasts excellence everywhere, Frazier has also worked for communications companies and defense contractors. He spent time in the Navy working in intelligence. He has a reputation as being someone who can work with members of the other party. Senator Bennet is stacked with cash, at least $7.6 million in the bank, and the race has been overshadowed by national politics. Frazier acknowledged that it can be frustrating, surmising, "We certainly spent a lot of time talking about Donald Trump instead of issues that Coloradans really care about."
According to the Durango Herald, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper signed several bills into law Friday. Colorado has adopted one of the nation's toughest state laws to protect the privacy of student data. Hickenlooper signed a bipartisan bill that addressed parents' concerns about what educational software companies do with students' personal information. The new law requires companies to destroy, not just delete, program information unless authorized by contract to keep it. It notifies parents of Colorado's K-12 students who are collecting data and why. And student data can't be used for advertising or sold to third parties. Violators could lose their contracts with schools or the state. Marijuana gummy bears won't be legal in Colorado starting next month. Neither will marijuana products in the shape of any other animal or fruits or people. Hickenlooper signed a bill that makes it a crime to sell pot-infused candies in certain shapes. Sponsors say that gummy bears, gummy worms, and chewy candies shaped like fruits are too attractive to children. The ban will take effect July 1st. Colorado now has extra resources to combat one of the highest suicide rates in the nation. Hickenlooper signed a bill creating a model suicide prevention program. It teams state agencies with healthcare providers, first responders, advocacy groups, and others to better identify those at risk of suicide. Inspired by the Bill Cosby rape allegations, Colorado has doubled the amount of time sexual assault victims can seek charges from 10 to 20 years. And now here's our weather report.
We're still expecting gusting surface winds and very dry air by tomorrow afternoon. Relative humidity, which has been running in the mid-30s, is expected to drop to single digits tomorrow. This hot and dry southwest flow has been promised has arrived and will continue to build over the next several days. It will be here well into next week, as a Pacific drop will be dropping down the west coast, and at the same time a high in the plains with a center point near the border with Mexico straight south of us will keep that heat stuffed in place. The result is that temperatures will be the hottest of the year so far in the early part of next week. The combination of gusty winds and low relative humidities will produce critical fire weather conditions for far western Colorado, where fuels are critically dry. So a fire weather watch remains in effect for Wednesday and Thursday afternoons and early evening for portions of western Colorado. It will likely be extended into the next week, as conditions are not likely to change in that time frame. Although winds will slow this weekend, temperatures will rise dramatically early next week, with highs around 100 degrees in many lower valleys. Showers and thunderstorms will persist mostly in the afternoon over the lower Mississippi Valley and the southeast through midweek. Scattered widespread showers and thunderstorms from the upper Midwest to the mid-Atlantic, and strong to severe thunderstorms will develop over the Midwest today. These will shift toward the lower Great Lakes and Ohio Valley on Thursday. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a slight risk from northeast Kansas to southern Minnesota and an enhanced risk over Iowa today. For Wednesday, the slight risk expands into the Ohio Valley, and the enhanced area will cover northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and southern Michigan. Following the last month's trend, flash flooding is still a possibility in the areas at slight or enhanced risks of strong to severe thunderstorms. A front over the northern Intermountain region and Great Basin will move eastward to the northern High Plains and eastern Great Basin by tomorrow. Rain over the Pacific Northwest will spread eastward to the Intermountain West and northern High Plains. An onshore flow coming off the Pacific will produce rain over parts of the Pacific Northwest coast today and into Wednesday. Winds this afternoon are expected to be at 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts of 20 to 25. Tomorrow and Thursday, the gusts are expected to reach 30 miles per hour. Temperatures are going to climb from mid-80s today to the upper 90s by Sunday. Nights will run about 40 degrees cooler, beginning at the mid-40s and climbing to the mid-50s by Sunday night. Early next week is likely to be scorching hot in the early afternoons. And now back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, Mark Esper, the one-man show who runs the longest-running newspaper on the western slope, the Silverton Standard and the Miner, is trying to raise funds to honor the slain marshal with his own day and commemorative placard. According to the La Plata Miner archives, republished in the Standard on August 23, 1881, the notorious Ike Stockton gang tore the roof off of the Durango jail to break out a fellow member and fled to Silverton to hide out. On the gang's trail was La Plata County Sheriff Luke Hunter, who arrived in Silverton around midnight. Sheriff Hunter had not been in town 10 minutes before the gang knew of his presence, the La Plata Miner reported. La Plata County Sheriff Luke Hunter is seen by Silvertonians as an incompetent doofus because of the incident, joked Esper, recalling local attitudes in the archives. Soon after his arrival, Hunter went to the Senate billiard hall to rustle up the town's marshal, David Clayton Ogsbury, who was sleeping in a back room. When the two came out of the bar and headed towards the Diamond Saloon at 11th and Green Streets, gang members were waiting. Almost immediately, a flurry of gunfire erupted. The La Plata Miner reported Ogsbury was killed instantaneously, the fatal bullet passing entirely through his body. 2 of the gang members were ultimately captured and hanged, the last hanging in Silverton history. The effort to memorialize Augsbury is an official San Juan Historical Society project, which seeks to raise enough funds for the preferred $2,800 placard. The plate would be placed at the site of his death at 11th and Green, and the Historical Society has the property owner's permission. Esper would also like to see the Town Council adopt August 24th as Marshall Clayton Clate Augsbury Day in Silverton. The Town Council is expected to vote on the matter Monday.
You say tomato, I say tomato, and the Australians may say it's a bone-bloody tomato, mate. A newly discovered species of tomato may belong in a horror movie, not in a sandwich. Or perhaps the U.S. Navy uses some big red floating bags for zeroing its weapon systems during target practice that they call killer tomatoes, saying, let's kill some tomatoes. Fruit from the bush tomato plant, Solanum ossicruentum, does not act like its cousin or kind usually do. The Australian tomato, about a couple of centimeters wide, grows enclosed in a shell of spikes. Slice open the fearsome fruit, and within 5 minutes its sticky white-green flesh appears to bleed, flushing bright red to dark maroon in response to the air exposure. One brave researcher tasted an unripe fruit and deemed it salty. The bush tomato does not improve with time. Mature fruits harden into dry, bony nuggets. The tomato's gruesome qualities inspired its name, given by a group of Pennsylvanian 7th grade science students. Ossicruentum combines the Latin words for bone and bloody. So the Aussies do have a bone-bloody tomato, mate.
According to the Durango Herald, repairs to a pipeline that supplies water to the largest farm on the Navajo Nation are finished, and the system will be tested this weekend. The fixed pipe, which supplies water to 72,000 acres of farmland in northwestern New Mexico, will be tested in 2 phases, according to the Navajo agricultural products industry. The company manages many of the crops on the land located near Farmington. Operators will slowly fill the siphon with water. If testing is successful, water will be released into the canal that feeds the area, NAPI CEO Wilton Charlie told the Farmington Daily Times. The irrigation canal delivers water to the tribal farm from the San Juan River through Navajo Dam. A decades-old concrete pipe failed May 13th. The water that was in the canal when the 17-foot diameter pipe broke had to be rationed among the crops grown by the tribal company and those who lease land. The produce grown there includes alfalfa, corn, beans, and pumpkins. Charlie said some subcontractors worked around the clock every day for the last few weeks to get the repairs done. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation's Technical Service Center in Denver is evaluating what caused the breach.
From usflag.com, the 4th of July was traditionally celebrated as America's birthday, but the idea of an annual day specifically celebrating the flag is believed to have first originated in 1885. B.J. Sigrand, a school teacher, arranged for the pupils in the Fredonia, Wisconsin Public School to observe June 14th, the 108th anniversary of the official adoption of the Stars and Stripes, as Flag Birthday. On June 14, 1889, George Balk, a kindergarten teacher in New York City, planned appropriate ceremonies for the children of his school, and his idea of observing Flag Day was later adopted by the State Board of Education of New York. On June 14, 1891, the Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia held a Flag Day celebration on June 14th of the following year. The New York Society of the Sons of the Revolution celebrated Flag Day. Following the suggestion of Colonel J. Granville Leach, the Pennsylvania Society of Colonial Dames of America, on April 25, 1893, adopted a resolution requesting the mayor of Philadelphia and all others in authority and all private citizens to display the flag on June 14th. Leach went on to recommend that thereafter the day be known as Flag Day. 2 weeks later, a resolution passed unanimously, and as a result, Dr. Edward Brooks, then superintendent of public schools of Philadelphia, directed the Flag Day exercises be held on June 14, 1893 in Independence Square. In 1894, the governor of New York directed that on June 14th the flag be displayed on all public buildings. With B.J. Sigrand and Leroy Van Horn as the moving spirits, the Illinois organization known as the American Flag Day Association was organized for the purpose of promoting the holding of Flag Day exercises. On June 14th, 1894, under the auspices of this association, the first general public school children's celebration of Flag Day in Chicago was held, and in various counties with more than 300,000 children participating. Inspired by 3 decades of state and local celebrations, Flag Day, the anniversary of the Flag Resolution of 1777, was officially established by the proclamation of President Woodrow Wilson on May 30th, 1916. While Flag Day was celebrated in various communities for years after Wilson's proclamation, it was not until August 3rd, 1949, that President Truman signed an act of Congress designating June 14th as each year National Flag Day. So happy Flag Day.
And now the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of June 6th through June 12th. A resident reported a wallet missing with a large amount of cash inside. Both the wallet and cash were located by a deputy and returned to the owner. A report of theft of property is being investigated by a deputy. A resident reported a motorist speeding on a county road. A party reported a possible domestic situation in a vehicle along Highway 491. The parties were no longer in the area when deputies arrived. Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department responded to 2 separate fires reported as caused by lightning strikes. No people were harmed nor structures damaged. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned this week for more updates.
In today's High Country happenings, Friday, June 17th, the MCHS Class of 1986 30-year reunion icebreaker event will be held starting at 7 p.m. at Blondie's Trophy Room in Cortez. Anyone who attended or worked at MCHS during the 1980s is invited. For details, contact Leanne Rich at lrich1968@yahoo.com or 749-5317. Saturday, June 18th, a reminder that Tire Cleanup Day for Montezuma County residents only is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Montezuma County landfill. The landfill will collect 1,000 tires for free, 9 tires per load if they're free of debris, have no rims, and are from passenger and light trucks. IDs will be checked. And here's something interesting happening. Go online to Colorado Treasure Hunts on Facebook. They are a part of the Colorado Cure and Colorado Consciousness movement, trying to get people outdoors by providing scavenger hunts throughout Colorado trails. They hide cash money on trails, $20 bills, on trees, under rocks, and post a photo about it to encourage people to take their families out on hikes and search for the cash, which whomever finds it first gets to keep. You can also see their Saturday hunt posted in the Durango Herald. And for my end note, today's Talk Tuesday is all about barbecue. That word is both a technique for cooking and an entity to cook on. Barbecue is older than Homo sapiens, and anthropologists even think mastery of fire may have permanently altered our evolutionary path, and it is this primeval link that makes us still love cooking over flame, some say. The Spanish explorer Gonzalo Fernández de Oviedo y Valdez was the first to use the word barbacoa or anything like it in print in Spain in 1526 in the Diccionario de la Lengua Española, 2nd edition of the Real Academy Española. Oviedo, as historians refer to him, traveled extensively in the Caribbean and what is now known as Florida in the 1500s. And he was the first to describe the wooden rack above the ground used by the natives for cooking. He said it was from the Taíno dialect of the Arawak American Indians. A website maintained by descendants of the Taínos says the word barbecue comes from a poorly written translation between Spanish and English of the Taíno word barbecue, spelled ICU. Folks today can't even agree on how it's spelled. With a CUE, a QUE, all caps, or hyphenated, linguists and historians generally agree that the proper spelling is barbecue, CUE. To differentiate grilling and other techniques from the barbecue, smoke seems to be what makes this outstanding. Today, BBQ is practiced over campfires, indoor fireplaces, open pits, in smokehouses, and millions of people use a bewildering array of steel devices to produce barbecue with a variety of fuels. Barbecue truly has many meanings, but the bottom line is that it is a cooking method that produces smoke. It often involves flame or heat. Barbecue is also a cooking device that produces the smoke. In addition, barbecue is an event, usually festive and outdoors, at which food is barbecued on a barbecue. And finally, barbecue is a flavor produced by cooking with a barbecue, often with a sweet ketchup-based sauce called barbecue sauce, on a barbecue or at a barbecue event, unless it's cooked on an electric barbecue with any other sauce you like and eaten alone indoors. I think barbecue is best enjoyed with a group of people and includes both proteins and vegetables. So all of the happenings segment is posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page. If you have a suggestion, you can email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119.
Again, thanks for tuning in. This program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. on Channel 32.1 Dolores County, on Channel 30.4 in Montezuma County, and their cable Channel 5.
And tell a friend and watch the broadcast replayed on YouTube. Search DCTV News at Noon, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And Talk Tuesday is directly following the news. It's all things barbecue. Why not call in with your smoking hot tips or recipes to share with the community? That's directly following the news.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and all those who are working to bring you DCTV and the News at Noon program from Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. See you next time.